There are moments in life when betrayal cuts deeper than any sword. It is not the stranger's words that pierce the soul, but the friend's silence. Not the enemy's blow that breaks you, but the trusted hand that lets go. Betrayal is an earthquake to the heart. It shakes the foundations of your trust, it cracks the walls of your faith in people, and it leaves you standing amid ruins, wondering how you will ever rebuild. And yet, there is a mystery hidden within betrayal. Could it be that what man meant for your downfall, God intended for your elevation? Could it be that the very act of being cast aside is the signal heaven uses to lift you higher? For in the economy of God, nothing is wasted, not even the sting of rejection. Think of the stories etched in the sacred pages of time. Joseph sold by his brothers, betrayed by those who carried the same blood in their veins. What they intended as an end was only the beginning. Their betrayal was the key that unlocked the palace door. Their cruelty became the platform for God's glory to be revealed in his life. And when Joseph stood in a position of authority, it was their betrayal that proved he had always been chosen. So too in your life, the whispers behind your back, the doors slammed in your face, the friendships that shattered, the family who turned cold. These are not random tragedies. They are threads being woven into a greater tapestry. You may not see it yet, but heaven has a way of turning betrayal into a stage for divine vindication. For the truth is this: if you are chosen, no betrayal can unchoose you. If God has called you, no hand raised against you can silence that call. Their betrayal does not erase your destiny, it confirms it. Because in rejecting you, they reveal what heaven already knew, that you were never made to fit in their circle, because you were marked for something higher. And here lies the paradox. The ones who pushed you away will one day be the audience to your rising. The ones who broke your heart will have to witness how God heals and crowns you. The very betrayal that tried to bury you will be the evidence God uses to show the world you were always His. Pause and let this sink in. The hurt you carry is not wasted pain. It is prophetic pain. It is the seed of a future unveiling, where God will take what was done in shadows and turn it into the brightest light of proof. Proof that His hand was on you when no one else believed. Proof that you were chosen not by the approval of man, but by the decree of heaven. So do not despise the betrayal. Do not let bitterness chain you to the ground, for even now God is preparing to prove in public what He already whispered to your soul in private. You are mine. You are chosen. You are loved. And when He lifts you, when He vindicates you, it will not merely be a blessing for you, it will be a testimony for all. A testimony that betrayal cannot cancel destiny, that rejection cannot silence calling, and that those who plot against the chosen of God only succeed in setting the stage for His glory to shine brighter. Your betrayal, then, is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of a chapter where God Himself becomes the author of your vindication. And when that chapter is read aloud, it will echo with a truth unshakable, that you were chosen, and their betrayal was only the reason heaven chose to prove it. The whispers behind your back, the doors slammed in your face, the friendships that shattered, the family who turned cold, these are not random tragedies. They are threads being woven into a greater tapestry. When betrayal enters your life, it rarely announces itself with thunder or lightning. It comes softly, quietly, through voices you once trusted, through faces you once leaned on, through hands you thought would never let go. And the pain of betrayal is unlike any other pain, because it does not come from afar, it comes from near. It is not the blow of an enemy that breaks the heart, but the silence of a friend. It is not the insult of a stranger that wounds deeply, but the coldness of one you once called family. These wounds do not merely bruise the surface of your soul, they cut to the marrow of who you are. They leave you asking questions in the night. Why me? What did I do to deserve this? How could they turn against me after all I gave? And yet, even in those sleepless nights of wrestling, something holy is happening beneath the surface. What feels like a cruel unraveling is actually God's careful weaving. You see, betrayal is never wasted in the hands of God. The very moments you thought were designed to end you are often the hidden chapters of your becoming. Those shattered friendships, those cold shoulders, those slammed doors, they are not accidents. They are deliberate threads in a tapestry so grand you cannot yet see its beauty. A tapestry must be woven from both light and dark strands. If it were all bright, it would have no depth. If it were all dark, it would have no hope. And so your story too requires both. The warmth of loyalty and the sting of betrayal. Think of it. Would Joseph ever have stood in Pharaoh's court had his brothers never thrown him into the pit? Would David ever have worn the crown had Saul never hunted him in jealousy? Would Christ himself have ever walked the road to the cross had Judas not betrayed him with a kiss? The betrayal of man often becomes the very stage for the revelation of God. But in the moment you cannot see it. You only feel the sting. You only see the broken trust, the hollow silence, the shadow of what was. And yet, heaven is at work in those very shadows. The slammed door is not a punishment, but a redirection. The friend who turned cold is not proof of your unworthiness, but a sign of your setting apart. The whispers behind your back are not meant to destroy you, they are being used to position you. God is weaving, and though you cannot yet trace his hand, you must trust his heart. He is turning every betrayal into brushstrokes on the canvas of your destiny. Every harsh word, every mocking laugh, every unfair rejection is becoming the very evidence that you are chosen. Because if you are ordinary, they would have no reason to betray you. It is only those marked for greatness who provoke such resistance. So do not despise these betrayals. They are not random, meaningless tragedies. They are sacred signals of your calling. They are the necessary threads that will one day reveal a tapestry so radiant, even your betrayers will have no choice but to acknowledge that the hand of God was upon you all along. For the truth is this: if you are chosen, no betrayal can unchoose you. If God has called you, no hand raised against you can silence that call. There is a lie that betrayal tries to whisper into your heart. You are forgotten. You are rejected. You are finished. It tells you that the disloyalty of others has disqualified you, that the harshness of man has cancelled what God intended. But the truth, eternal and unshakable, is this: no betrayal has the power to unwrite what heaven has decreed. When God calls you, he does not consult your enemies. When he chooses you, he does not ask for a vote from those around you. His choice is sovereign, his calling is irreversible, and betrayal, no matter how sharp, cannot undo his decision. The betrayal may wound you, but it cannot strip you of the seal of heaven. Look at the lives marked by destiny throughout history. Joseph's brothers despised him, stripped him of his robe, and cast him into a pit. They thought they had erased his dreams. Yet their very act of betrayal became the bridge to his destiny. Joseph was not unchosen in that moment. He was being positioned. The betrayal did not cancel his calling, it confirmed it. Consider David, anointed as king while still a shepherd boy. Saul's jealousy turned into betrayal, chasing him through caves and wilderness. To human eyes, David looked forsaken, hunted, even forgotten. But in truth, every arrow Saul hurled, every betrayal David endured, only drove him closer to the throne God had already promised. Saul could not unchoose what heaven had chosen. And let us not forget the greatest betrayal of all, Christ himself betrayed by Judas with a kiss. To his enemies, that betrayal seemed like victory. To his disciples, it seemed like tragedy. But in heaven's eyes, it was the very key to redemption. The betrayal became the pathway to the cross, and the cross became the crown. Could there be a greater proof that betrayal cannot undo destiny, but rather fulfills it? So too in your life, the betrayal you endured has no authority to erase what God has spoken. You may feel abandoned, you may feel diminished, you may even feel invisible. But none of those feelings alter the fact that heaven's decree over your life stands firm. You are chosen, and chosen means chosen forever. If God has placed a calling in you, no betrayal can silence it. If He has set His seal on you, no rejection can erase it. The hands raised against you are powerless before the hand stretched out over you. Their betrayal may delay the journey, but it cannot destroy the destination. Their rejection may bruise your heart, but it cannot break your destiny. Remember this: the voices that mock you are not the voices that define you. The ones who turn against you are not the ones who measure your worth. Their betrayal is not the final word, God's choice is. And God's choice does not waver, does not weaken, does not fail. So stand firm. Let their betrayal be loud, but let heaven's calling be louder. For when you are chosen, you carry a mark that cannot be erased. And one day, the very people who thought they had silenced you will see you rise, and they will know your destiny was never in their hands, but in God's all along. The betrayal does not erase your destiny, it confirms it, because in rejecting you, they reveal what heaven already knew, that you were never made to fit in their circle, because you were marked for something higher. There is a strange paradox in betrayal. We often think it diminishes us, as if the rejection of others somehow shrinks the value of who we are. But in reality, betrayal does not lessen destiny, it magnifies it. Their betrayal is not proof that you were unworthy. It is proof that you were set apart. It is not evidence that you were unwanted. It is evidence that you were chosen for a path too great for them to walk alongside you. Consider how rejection functions. When people push you away, they are unknowingly declaring, "This one is not ours. This one is marked for something beyond us." Their betrayal becomes a testimony, not against you, but for you. It confirms what heaven already whispered, that you were never meant to fit comfortably into their circle, because your destiny stretches far beyond its borders. Think of Joseph again. When his brothers betrayed him, they thought they were destroying his dreams. Yet their very act of betrayal was the evidence that Joseph's life was not meant to remain in the pasture fields of Canaan. He was called to palaces, to nations, to famine relief that would save thousands. He could not fit into their circle because God had drawn a larger circle, one that would embrace not just his family, but an entire world in need. And so it is with you. The reason you were betrayed, the reason you were rejected, the reason you were cast aside is because you were not designed to remain where you were. Betrayal is not a curse, it is a signal that you are being shifted, that your story is expanding, that God is pulling you out of the smallness of man's acceptance and into the vastness of his calling. When people betray you, They are not ending your destiny. They are confirming it. Their act of rejection declares that your worth was never tied to their approval. Their betrayal shouts that your destiny is not bound by their acceptance. They cannot comprehend the scale of your calling, and so they walk away, leaving space for God to move you where you belong. And here lies the truth. Chosen ones do not fit everywhere. They are often misjudged, often misunderstood, often misrepresented. But that very discomfort is proof of their calling. The chosen are not designed to blend in. They are designed to stand out. They are not meant to be contained. They are meant to overflow. And betrayal is often the separating line that reveals this. So when betrayal comes, do not see it as a verdict against you. See it as confirmation of what God already knew. You were never meant to fit in their circle. You were marked for something higher, something greater, something eternal. Their betrayal did not cancel your destiny, it confirmed it. The ones who pushed you away will one day be the audience to your rising. The ones who broke your heart will have to witness how God heals and crowns you. The very betrayal that tried to bury you will be the evidence God uses to show the world you were always His. There is a deep comfort hidden in the justice of God. He does not simply heal in private, He vindicates in public. The pain you endured behind closed doors will not remain hidden forever. The betrayal that was done in whispers, in shadows, will one day become the backdrop for your elevation in the open. This is not to say that you should seek revenge or harbor bitterness. No, the justice of God is far more profound than human vengeance. For while man seeks to destroy, God seeks to redeem. While betrayal sought to bury you, God is determined to raise you in a way so undeniable that even those who doubted you will have to acknowledge His hand upon you. Think of Joseph once more. His brothers sold him in secret. Their betrayal was hidden in the cover of deceit. But when famine struck the land, those very brothers had to come and bow before him in Egypt. They had to stand in the presence of the very one they had rejected. And in that moment, Joseph's position was not merely for his sake. It was God's way of proving that His chosen cannot be destroyed by betrayal. So it will be with you. The ones who mocked your pain, the ones who rejoiced in your downfall, the ones who thought they had buried your destiny, will one day see you rise. They will witness how God heals your wounds, restores your strength, and crowns your life with honor. They may never admit their guilt, but they will not be able to deny your elevation, because this is how God works. He takes the stone that was meant to crush you and builds a throne with it. He takes the betrayal that was meant to bury you and makes it the evidence of His favor. He takes the shame that was meant to silence you and turns it into the sound of your testimony. And when that moment comes, it will not be subtle. It will be undeniable. God's vindication is not hidden, it is public. He prepares a table in the presence of your enemies, not in their absence. He lifts you where they can see, not where they can pretend you never rose. This is not cruelty, it is justice. It is the divine reversal that transforms betrayal into proof. So do not despair when you are pushed away. Do not weep forever over broken trust, for the very ones who hurt you will one day be forced to see how God never abandoned you. They will see your rising, and in that rising they will see the fingerprints of God. Your betrayal will become your evidence, and your evidence will become your crown. Pause and let this sink in. The hurt you carry is not wasted pain. It is prophetic pain. It is the seed of a future unveiling, where God will take what was done in shadows and turn it into the brightest light of proof. There are two kinds of pain in this world: pain that destroys and pain that transforms. The pain of betrayal feels like the first. It feels destructive, senseless, crushing. But in the eyes of heaven, betrayal falls into the second category. It is not wasted pain. It is prophetic pain. It speaks of what is to come, not what has been lost. When you think of the word prophecy, you may imagine visions of the future, words of promise, glimpses of destiny. But have you ever considered that your pain itself could be prophetic? That the very wounds in your heart are pointing toward a future unveiling? That the betrayal which seemed designed to break you is actually a hidden announcement of what God is about to do? Take the cross as the clearest example. The pain Christ endured was not wasted, it was prophetic. The nails did not simply pierce his flesh, they foretold resurrection. The crown of thorns did not simply humiliate, it foreshadowed the crown of glory. The betrayal of Judas did not simply wound him, it prophesied the greatest redemption the world would ever know. The pain of that betrayal was not meaningless, it was purposeful, it was holy, it was prophetic. And so is yours. The nights you wept silently, the days you carried the heaviness of rejection, the seasons you felt abandoned, all of it is seed. Seed is small, buried, unseen, yet it contains within it a harvest unimaginable. Betrayal buries you for a season, but heaven calls that burial a planting. And one day, what was buried in pain will rise in proof. This is why betrayal feels so heavy. It is loaded with destiny. It is carrying a prophetic weight. That broken trust is not just a wound, it is a seed. That rejection is not just cruelty, it is a forecast. Heaven is saying, this pain will not be the end of you. It will be the announcement of my glory in your life. Do not dismiss your pain. Do not minimize it as if it is worthless. See it for what it truly is, prophetic. Every tear you shed is watering the soil of a future unveiling. Every wound you endured is shaping the testimony that will one day shine brighter than the betrayal itself. So pause, reflect, and let this sink in. Your pain is not wasted. It is being transformed. It is pointing towards something greater than you can see, and when the unveiling comes, the very shadows where betrayal once hid will become the stage where God's light proves you were chosen all along. Proof that his hand was on you when no one else believed. Proof that you were chosen not by the approval of man, but by the decree of heaven. There is something profoundly liberating in knowing that your worth does not rest on human approval. For the truth is, people are fickle. Today they cheer, tomorrow they sneer. Today they call you friend, tomorrow they call you stranger. If your destiny depended on the unstable approval of men, you would live enslaved to their shifting moods. But your choosing does not rest in their hands. It rests in the eternal decree of God. When God places his hand on you, it is not a suggestion, it is a seal. It is not an opinion, it is a decree. Men may doubt you, they may despise you, they may even betray you, but they cannot erase what heaven has written. And one day God will make it plain. He will bring proof that you were chosen not by the fragile applause of people, but by the unshakable call of the Almighty. This proof does not always come in the way we expect. We think vindication means God will silence every critic or force every betrayer to apologize. But divine proof is greater than human vindication. God does not simply quiet your enemies, he elevates you in their sight. He does not simply silence their lies, he makes your life the evidence of his truth. Joseph did not stand before his brothers with arguments, he stood with proof. The proof was his position in Egypt, the fulfillment of dreams they once mocked. David did not prove himself to Saul with words. The proof was the crown God placed upon his head. Christ did not argue with his accusers. The proof was an empty tomb that could not be denied. And so it will be with you. You will not need to convince them. You will not need to defend yourself. God himself will bring proof. Proof in the way he restores you. Proof in the way he lifts you. Proof in the way he blesses you beyond recognition. Proof that the betrayal did not cancel his choosing, but rather confirmed it. Because man's rejection is powerless against heaven's decree. People may doubt you now, but they cannot stop the unveiling of proof. They may laugh at your pain, but they cannot deny your rising. They may turn their backs, but they cannot erase the fingerprints of God on your destiny. And when that moment of proof arrives, it will be clear to all. Your life was never sustained by their approval, but by His decree. You were never chosen by their opinion, but by His eternal will. Their betrayal will become irrelevant, because the proof will stand taller than the lies, and the proof will echo with this undeniable truth. You were His chosen one all along. Though do not despise the betrayal, do not let bitterness chain you to the ground, for even now God is preparing to prove in public what He already whispered to your soul in private. You are mine. You are chosen. You are loved. Bitterness is the natural response to betrayal. When someone you trusted deeply breaks that trust, the wound cries out for justice. The heart whispers, "How could they?" and anger rises like a storm. But here is the hidden danger. Bitterness chains you to the very betrayal you long to escape. It anchors you to the past, ensuring that your betrayers continue to hold power over you, even in their absence. God, however, calls you higher. He calls you to release bitterness, not because the betrayal was small or insignificant, but because He is preparing to do something greater. Your healing cannot come through rehearsing the betrayal. It comes through trusting the promise. And the promise is this: what God whispered in private will one day be shouted from the rooftops in public. Think back to those moments when no one believed in you, when even your closest circle turned against you, when your prayers seemed to echo into silence. In those moments, God whispered, "You are mine. You are chosen. You are loved." And though your betrayers may have laughed at such words, heaven never wavered. God never revoked His decree. The betrayal did not silence His whisper. It only amplified its importance. This is why you cannot allow bitterness to take root. If you do, you risk missing the very unveiling God has prepared for you. Bitterness blinds you to the beauty of His proof. It keeps you focused on their betrayal instead of His vindication. It chains you to the ground when God is calling you to rise. Release the bitterness. Let go of the chains. Lift your eyes from the shadows of betrayal to the light of God's promise. For what He whispered in secret, He will confirm in public. The same God who told Joseph in a dream, "You will lead," proved it before his brothers. The same God who told David, "You will be king," proved it before the nation. The same God who told Christ, "You are my beloved Son," proved it with resurrection. And the same God who whispered to you, "You are mine," will prove it in your life before all who doubted you. The betrayal was loud, the pain was real, but the proof will be louder, and the vindication will be undeniable. So stand tall. Do not despise the betrayal. It is not your prison, it is your platform. Do not cling to bitterness. It is not your strength, it is your weakness. Instead, trust that God is already preparing to do what He has always promised, to show the world that you were chosen all along. Beloved, betrayal is not the end of your story. It is the soil in which God plants the seeds of His greatest proof. What they did to hurt you will become the very evidence He uses to exalt you. The whispers behind your back will one day be drowned out by His declaration over your life. The doors they closed will one day stand as monuments to the doors He opened. The doors He opened. You do not need to fight to prove yourself. You do not need to beg for recognition. Your destiny does not rest in the fragile hands of man, but in the unshakable decree of heaven. And heaven has already spoken. You are mine. You are chosen. You are loved. So walk forward without fear. Release the bitterness. Embrace the pain as prophetic, and trust the God who transforms betrayal into blessing. For when He proves you before the world, there will be no doubt left in any heart, yours or theirs, that you were His chosen one from the beginning. And when that moment comes, you will understand. The betrayal was not your downfall. It was the reason God chose to lift you higher, to crown you greater, and to prove you were His all along.